Hey, Boys Premier Agents, how you doing? It's that time of year again. Hope you guys got my email stating it's that time of year again. Anyways, what I really like about the end of December is, of course, Christmas. I love Christmas. It's a fun holiday, but I also like getting ready for 2017, for the upcoming year. When I was thinking about business planning and I was thinking about goal setting, first of all, it's one of my favorite things to do. I've done it ever since I was just a young person, real young person. Some of the things that I've written down this year are just to make sure that you have super clear goals. And I've got some examples that I want to talk to you a little bit about that. But some examples of some really clear goals would be a certain dollar volume that you'd like to close this year, certain number of listings you'd like to obtain, how many referrals you'd like to receive from your sphere, that sort of thing. And then also the daily actions that it will take to do that. But some of the things I think are really interesting is when I look at my wall of fame here. These are all people that I admire, and there's some area of their life that I'm pretty interested in that I've thought that I'd like to adapt into my life. But every one of them has a particular story. But there's a couple that I wanted to kind of focus on. So one of my favorite people is Nick Saban. Typically I root against Alabama, and I will again this time. I want the Huskies to win. But you can't be anything but crazy impressed with his success as a coach. I mean, within like 1 year, he can turn around a program no matter where he's been. And some of the things that I've been most impressed with as I read about him, actually I just finished another one of his books, How Good Do You Want to Be? But one of the things that I've always been really impressed with him is that he only cares about the process, which is actually really challenging to do. And the process, it basically comes into 3 different things. Do your job on every play, don't watch the scoreboard, and don't worry about the end result. And in real estate, that's actually really hard to do. Do your job on every play. That could be prospecting. That could be making sure you hit your timelines. That could be lots of different things. Don't watch the scoreboard. Don't count your commissions. Don't start thinking about your pipeline at this point. Just keep on grinding with the thing you're supposed to do. And then don't worry about the end results. You don't know if you're going to win or lose, but if you look up at the scoreboard and you stop, that's a good way to lose. So don't worry about the end results, just keep on working, just keep on grinding out the process. Other things that I've been really impressed with Nick Saban is that he's focused on the journey and not the end results. And he says you can only control the things that you can control. And when you think about, well, what can you control? Well, you can control every minute of every day. So even in his life, he is so systematic and routine. In fact, more routine than I could probably be, but I can respect what he's doing there. Even for breakfast, he has coffee and 2 Little Debbie cookies. And then for lunch, he has iceberg lettuce, turkey slices, and fat-free Dijon mustard. And it's just one of those things where he's just made his life so systematic that he doesn't have to think things through. Another thing that's pretty fascinating is that he will not walk on his practice field, and he will not let his players walk on his practice field either. When you're on that field, you're there to work, which is pretty nice, because I think about that with my own life, as far as sometimes you come to the office without a plan, or sometimes you start the day without a plan, and that's a pretty good way to fail right there. So as far as that's concerned, I hope the Huskies win, but I know that those guys will be ready. Clear goals. As far as clear goals go, there's not anyone who has made better clear goals than Howard Hughes and Arnold Schwarzenegger, in my opinion. Arnold, one of my favorite parts about him was he wrote on a note card. He would set 5 goals each year, and he wrote on a note card, find out what it would take to run for governor of California. Okay, so he wrote that. On January 2nd, he had already met with the top Republican leader in California, which I just thought was amazing. And he's a pretty amazing person too. I mean, Arnold is a guy who was a millionaire in real estate before he ever even took a job acting. Set his goal to be the highest paying actor, even when people said that was just ridiculous to do. They said his last name was too long, he couldn't speak the language very well, and he'd be better off just being a villain. But he turned down role after role after role because he had this very clear vision. One thing that I've always been impressed with Howard Hughes, he's not related to us, not related to me. However, I may tell some people that I am related to him because he's a pretty interesting person. But he set 4 goals, 3 right off the bat, and then 1 later in life. And so when his parents died when he was 18 or 19 years old, and his dad had a really successful company already. He leased drill bits And he didn't sell drill bits, he leased drill bits. So there was lots of reoccurring revenue. But it was just a good business. It wasn't like an amazing business or anything like that. But when he died, he basically, first of all, he had to wrestle away his dad's company from his dad's business partners, which was not easy to do, especially for an 18-year-old. But he's very driven. And when he did finally get that figured out, he set 4 goals. And one was to be the best golfer in the world, which he probably never accomplished, but he was a scratch golfer, and he was very, very, very good. And he took lessons all the time. The second one was to be the best filmmaker in the world. And for a time, arguably, he probably had that when he directed Hell's Angels and a couple of other movies, which was, and he really devoted himself to that. And then the third was to be the best pilot in the world. And he probably had that too, because he set the record for speed. He had like the fastest transcontinental flight as well. So the guy's pretty amazing that way, and it was very, very clear. He didn't have 50 goals, he had 4. And then the fourth one was the most amazing to me, was when he was a little bit older, he set a goal to be the richest man in the world. And when he set that goal, he wasn't even close. And he did accomplish that one as well. But one thing I was always impressed with him is he focused on one new skill at a time. He would not, when he was golfing, he was just golfing. And when he was filmmaking, he was just filmmaking. And when he was a pilot, he was just a pilot. And it has really shown me that that's just kind of the way you need to do that. And in real estate, you really do need to pick up a new skill each year, especially as marketing goes. I remember one year I focused a lot on email marketing and building my database. One year I focused a lot on the phone and just how I could be more effective on the phone. One year I focused a lot on basically Facebook marketing. And then this year it's going to be a lot more SEO, a lot more retargeting, and also Facebook marketing as well. In conclusion, I'm really looking forward to meeting with each one of you guys and going through all the things that Voice of America has to offer for free that you should just be taking advantage of. A lot of our agents are using our conversion website that's free to you guys. It has the MLS search on there, but it also has 1,800 different texts, emails, autoresponders, everything, even phone call reminders. It'll actually call you to remind you to make calls. And you can put people in different categories: past clients, people you met at an open house, active clients, all sorts of things. So people should be using that. Not to mention, every marketing piece we've ever made, it's available for you. It's in the Dropbox. You should just pull them down, use them, and if you don't have any digital skills, we can tweak those ones for you for a small fee. So no excuses not to have absolutely wonderful marketing on everything. The most important thing for me is I review my important metrics on a daily basis. I actually use a couple different things, but I use this journal, and I just do a quick update on every single day so that I make sure that I hit my number of calls and what my marketing pieces, what I've tried to set out to do on that. Review your schedule each day. Better to review it the night before. Make sure you come in with a game plan and that you're following it. You follow what your own process may be. And then budgets. With marketing, you can do a lot of things for very inexpensively. There's no need to really spend a ton of money on marketing unless you have a particular campaign in mind. And we've spent a lot of money on marketing as well when we have a campaign we're really excited about. But I want to make sure that campaign justifies the cost. So really track your marketing and make sure it's held accountable for what you do. And then as far as other items, hey, there's a lot more important things than just business in this world. So even though we're talking specifically about business and a business plan, make sure that you've put plenty of time in there for your health, your spiritual well-being, your family, social, and your finances. So when this is a fun time of year, really make sure that you take advantage of it and put all these things into play so that you can have a great 2017. Oh, what a pleasure. What a surprise you've come to visit me today. Go ahead and take a seat. His plan was to be his plan was to, dude, cut. Let's start this again. Start it all over. Go. Okay, so one thing I thought was awesome about Saban is that basically, dude. Okay, so when you're tracking your marketing efforts, one of the most important things you can do is to hold all of your campaigns accountable for what you've spent. We have a lot of different
Yeah, this is
dude. hard to concentrate if you're gonna be on the phone.
Oh, sorry. I'll call you back.